Hello, good evening, our fellow YouTube community. How is everybody on this beautiful Thursday evening? Good to see everybody.
It is actually beautiful. For those of you who can look outside, the moon, and what is it?
The moon and Venus.
It's absolutely stunning.
It's like the crescent moon and Venus are really close to each other, and it's absolutely beautiful. So good to see everybody. Who do we have with us so far tonight, Miss Petrucci?
Aaron from RV Kids TV.
Hey, Aaron,
is the first, I think, TV. 3 weeks in a row, maybe even more.
Saw you on the RV Odd Couple stream last night. Talked to you guys. Very cool.
Are we on this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for joining us. Justin and Christina's RV Van Life. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good to see you guys.
We've got Steve Turtle.
Steve Turtle in the house.
Got our regular early birds.
Very cool.
And then we also have Dreaming Out Loud RVing. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good to see you guys for sure.
This is definitely a lot more grainier than normal, but we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Will you guys let us know if we're
good.
Looking good?
Yeah.
New Horizons. Thank you guys for coming in. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Let's see. We've got a few comments that I am.
Larry Graham. Hey, how are you?
It's New Horizons is in the Smoky Mountains. It is.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
It's cold here.
Very cool.
And we are way south of the Smoky Mountains. So,
well, we have some kind
Larry Grimm is here.
Larry Grimm, good to see everybody. We have some really super exciting news to get going to start out. Save the dates between May 15th and May 23rd in that week, May 24th, 15th through the 23rd, 24th,
like
in that block.
The end of the Memorial Day weekend.
That's right. We are going to the Grand Canyon on the North Rim, and we're inviting you to Jacobs Lake Campground, which we are all going to boondock and party and have a good old Northern Rim Grand Canyon hoedown. It is a beautiful campground. We're taking a group backpacking during that week, but we're going to be at the RV park a few days before, maybe even 4 or 5 days before, and a few days afterwards. And it's a beautiful place. Jacobs Lake Campground, North Rim of the Grand Canyon. It's right up 89A. You can't miss it, or otherwise you'll go right into the Grand Canyon. You'll go right in. It's the last campground out there, and they've got all kinds of boondocking spots out there, all kinds of BLM land out there. Jacobs Lake is a dry campground. There's no hookups. There's no water. It is boondocking beast area, but it's beautiful sites. They have toilets. They have
it's pit toilets,
but they have a restaurant and a cabin and a lodge and a gas station right across the street.
An expensive gas station, but
well, of course,
gas station,
of course,
which is very much needed.
So that's a huge announcement. Those save those dates the 15th through around the 23rd, somewhere around there. And there could be earlier, but those are our permit dates for sure. And we'll give you guys a lot more information as we get information from Jacobs Lake and the permit office, the National Park Service. But we called them today. We're good to go. We just have some paperwork to fill out, and we are there. So we want you guys to come along with.
Yeah, I'm like super excited.
I see Randy from Randy's Adventures.
Randy came in. Thank you.
Very cool.
And then we've also have a Nomadic Hippie.
Hey, Nomadic Hippie. Good to see you, man.
We got a lot of people driving currently and watching.
Oh,
you guys, please be safe out there.
Oh, boy.
There's always the replay. But thank you so much for the love. It's super appreciated. But seriously,
we have a great podcast today, great show today. We have Daniel and Corry from Joyous Voyagers in our virtual green room. They are all cozied up in their little guy Max.
I like how you call it a virtual green room.
Their virtual green room. They're ready to go, and we cannot wait to talk to them. So if you have questions specifically about traveling in a little guy Max for 1.5 years with 2 dogs and how they survived, and they are work camping now. And they are really minimalizing their life. They're working on sustainable living by converting a pre-built shed into kind of like a mini home. So we have a lot of questions for those guys. They are going to be on in a few minutes. So if you have questions, type in question in caps.
All caps, please. It really does help me find where it is in the stream as there's a lot of commentary coming in. It's helpful for me to see that like really large caps question and then your question.
Yep. I was just going to say that.
And then we're finishing each other's sentences. That's a couple years in a relationship.
And by the way, Ariane gave me her cooties. I just want to, if you watch the replay from last week, she was sick and she so generously gave me, it was actually like a box, like a wrap box with a bow on it. Say, here are my cooties.
Enjoy.
And so I got the cooties.
He's been throwing the blame game around a lot, which I'll take. I'll accept.
Thursday has turned out into healthy green tea night to get Scott healthy.
First of all, downsizing makes sense. Thank you for coming in.
Hey,
it's so
good to see you guys.
Now
awesome.
You get to relax and be on the other end of things. So get some good questions ready. But she said, well, I'm assuming it's you. You said couples share everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the cooties.
But RV Underway, thank you very much. Hello to you as well.
RV Underway is here. Very cool.
Very exciting to see all these guys come in.
RV Underway, your stream is like early in the morning. I get the notification on my phone like at 6 o'clock. My mind is willing, but my body is weak to get up that early.
Well, but
I've been catching the replay, huh?
People are driving and doing this. You could just make it your alarm,
That's
wake up
true.
call.
That is very true.
And support other people.
Yeah, RV Underway's got a great stream in the morning too, by the way. If you guys catch them, they really have a great live stream. I love their setup. Very, very cool.
So Justin and Christina's RV van life, thank you. You always do this for us, and it's truly beyond appreciated. For hit the thumbs up, you guys. Give us a little bit of love on there. Thank you. And then also mentioned do the bell to get all the notifications, and then share out the live stream. So thank you for that. That's
so speaking of love, so I've got some numbers on our first two podcasts. Downsizing Makes Sense. If you didn't catch their live stream last week, they're going to be being downloaded on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play. We're on Podbean, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. We're all set to go. They're going to be ready to be downloaded on Monday. And so no pressure there, Larry and Alice, but we had over a little under 3,000 downloads on our first two episodes. So wow, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. Very, very exciting.
Holy crap, criminy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was going to have to hit the buzzer or whatever, but I don't have one.
New Horizon said that was an awesome one at Downsizing Makes Sense.
Yeah.
So tonight, I'm very excited. We have Joyous Voyagers with us. They are, we see them on the screen over here. Just waiting patiently for us to wrap things up.
Very cool.
It's I'm really excited to get to talk to them. So,
and we're all big sushi fans, obviously.
We are big sushi fans. We've been out with them a couple times now. And I'm sure there's another one coming up now that we're well enough to leave the house at this point. But so
I'm setting sushi limits though this time.
Yeah.
My eyes were way too big for my stomach on that last sushi run. So
proceeding onward in America. Thank you. Thanks for coming in, and hello to you as well.
So quick recap: Grand Canyon, May 15th to May 23rd-ish. Get ready. It's dry camping only, but it's a really super nice campground. I mean, it's clean. This is a really nice, clean campground. If you want to go and party with us at about 8,000 feet. The visitor station in May opens on the 15th. The North Rim Visitor Station opens on the 15th. So we're going to be right there. We're going to be like the first ones in. We're going to be, there's not going to be a lot of people there. That's the best time to see the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, in our opinion, in our humble opinion, before all the visitors get there. So we're going to give you a lot more details and let you know on the website when we get that up and going. Podcasts are doing well, and I'm sick. And Ariane gave it to me. Other than that, I think that's a quick update
in a nutshell. All right, we are going to be getting going on this podcast.
Yep. So the format of the show is always we've got if you have a question at some point in time between 8:10 and 9 o'clock, we're going to open it up to live questions for you guys for Joyous Voyagers. Again, anything about little guy Max traveling with 2 dogs. Sustainable living, they know it really well. Minimalism, they know it real well. So please type your question in all caps so Ariane can see it. And then if you would like to ask a question, we will mention your YouTube channel. And then that'll get on our podcast, and hopefully our podcast listeners will come out and check out your YouTube channel. If you want to show any kind of love for the show, you then become Patreons of the show, and we announce you and your channel during our podcast. Also, that's usually the format. Works.
Speaking of Patreons,
downsizing
makes sense.
Thank you guys. That was really sweet. Appreciate that.
Really appreciate that.
Very
super
cool.
Chat. Beyond appreciated. Miss you guys. It's only been a week.
Yeah, right?
I love it. All right, we are going off chat. We are about to get rolling. You guys, are you ready?
You guys ready to do this podcast? Joyous Voyagers. Let's do this.
Boom, boom.
This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Shall we begin?
Can they do that?
Let's begin. Shall we begin?
Welcome to This Nomadic Idea Podcast, where we share, discuss, interview people from all over who live a nomadic lifestyle. Whether it's a full-time RVer, a van lifer, those living in a schoolie, or someone who just lives a more minimal lifestyle, this podcast is for you. We share the whys and the how-tos and answer your questions live with those looking to live this alternative lifestyle. We are Scott and Ariane from This Nomadic Idea, and this podcast is for you.
By the way, this podcast is sponsored by Blueberry Hosting. Blueberry Hosting is the easiest and most simple way to host your podcast, yet powerful to incorporate a professional podcast. If you're using WordPress, all you have to do is produce your podcast, write your blog, post, and publish. It's that easy. Just takes a few minutes. Get on all the major podcatchers also. Just go to thisnomadicidea.com, click on the Blueberry banner, and receive 1 free month of hosting just for listening to this podcast. That's Blueberry Podcast Hosting.
This is episode 3, Joyous Voyagers. On this episode, we talk with Daniel and Corry from Joyous Voyagers. What was their experience like traveling for over a year and a half in a little guy Max with 2 dogs, to where they now have transitioned from a life less of travel to a lifestyle focused on sustainable living, work camping, and building projects, one of which includes an extended tiny home build out from a pre-built shed. We find out just how minimalism has changed their life and their perspectives.
Welcome to the podcast, you guys. Good
Hello.
to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Good to see you. So in our intro, we talked about traveling for a year and a half in a little guy Max, but for our podcast audience, what the heck is a little guy Max? It sounds like there's a third person involved in your family, but it's not. It's a camper trailer.
Right. The little guy Max is basically the largest trailer camper that you can get on the market. It's made up by some great guys, them, but we bought that about a year and a half ago, and now still living in it full time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just the perfect camper for us. We looked for about a couple months, and the teardrop.
So what's that like? And you have 2 dogs too. So what was that like in that situation? I mean, talk about minimalism. I mean, our 2 dogs drive me nuts now in the Airstream. How did you guys do it in the little guy Max?
It's tight quarters and everything, but you just have to like each other.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So simple.
and
So simple.
Yeah.
yes.
We make a joke that we live in a doghouse, a teardrop doghouse, more than as an teardrop's pretty large camper for being a small teardrop, but we utilize the couch layout for the dogs. So we really, you have to cater to your animals,
Oh,
yeah, and they like
we know.
being with us all the time.
Yeah.
So so how did that work out? Did you guys have a plan? Like, tell us a little bit of the backstory with as far as what made you even, live a nomadic lifestyle. What made you decide, hey, let's go buy a really small, camper trailer and live in it with their 2 dogs? What was that? How did you make that decision?
It started, we were pretty successful in our careers, both for about 10 years. And we had the 7-acre, 4,000 square foot house. We were going to start a homestead in a larger area. And we just realized we didn't need all that space. We were sitting in a house, and just the footprint of what we were using. We've always moved up in houses. And so we had flipped the one before, and we had looked at each other one night, and it's like, it's time to flip it. But we didn't know we were going to travel.
Originally planning to buy a little cabin in North Georgia mountains or something like that. And, we were on YouTube, Netflix or something like that. And we came across a documentary on people who were traveling in RVs, and I just nonchalantly said, and Daniel took it and ran with it.
That's all I need is permission.
Yeah, I cursed the documentaries on Netflix. I think they kind of sucked us into that too.
Similar story.
There should be a disclaimer saying this documentary can and will cause you to change your life completely. So you decided to hit the road, and you go in the little guy Max. How did that kind of change your life? I mean, because that's kind of a big lifestyle. I mean, here you are flipping houses, and then all of a sudden now you're in a small camper trailer. What was life on the road like in the beginning versus to how long did it take you to kind of get your feet wet with it?
We had the camper, we bought it, and this is typical give people is if you're going to hit the road full time, we actually purchased it 3 months before we left. So we had a lot of time on the week. Got the dogs. I mean, we would boondock in our driveway at our house and let them be used to it. And so we really got a knack for and spent the time like where and how to organize it. And we slowly brought things in one by one. So we really got to take advantage before launching. We really had a good pre-launch. And so I think when we hit the road, we tried to just embrace as much easy camping. We kind of booked Disney for the first week, Yeah,
we definitely eased into it. So we, like you said, we were in it quite a bit before we went full time, just to get the dogs comfortable and us comfortable. We did a lot of RV parks our first few, like 3 or almost a month, I guess, with RV parks.
And then we went straight for the swamp.
I think that's the one thing that Ariane and I have gotten probably more than anything is that, start out slow and really get a feel for your rig. And don't just like buy the rig, pack, and then leave your driveway. That's kind of what our plan has been, is just to kind of get to know the Airstream a little bit, because she is a stubborn Lucy, and just getting to know everything you might need to repair or get to know her. And I think that's a really good plan as far as what you guys did. It was just kind of getting to know the little guy Max a little bit, and you feel that helped a lot.
Yeah, it made it more of an easier transition. We were never really we didn't need tons of space. Like I said, I mean, you got to be friends, right, to live in such close corners.
Yeah.
And so we were really worried about, we knew we were going to be patient with each other with, I think our issue was more or less of like the duties, who's going to be responsible, what's going to flow easier. Like what are some have to do to keep it organized and clean. And kind of, it's interesting, the small space that doesn't go away. You still have chores. You can still spend hours cleaning and getting everything back down the road. But with less stuff, it's easy.
Yeah, we definitely. I think that was something that we realized getting into. Enjoyed having less things. It
Right.
didn't weigh us down so much, and it was just freer. We felt freer.
Predictable.
So with Daniel with less chores, does that mean it's easier to get out of the chores?
Yeah, we kind of, I do a lot of the inside stuff and he does a lot of the outside stuff. So we kind of way.
Yeah. I mean, I always did the laundry, like in the laundry mats, and would bring it and she would fold it. It just makes sense, You just have to work, living in small space. A lot of our families and friends and other people have asked us, how do you do that? Or we don't see how you can. RV traveling or nomad lifestyle, you do it how it's going to work for you. You don't have to go as small as we. There's a happy medium. That I would say, don't let that prevent. The answers you don't have, go learn them, find them out, dive in and figure it out. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been told I cannot fold, so that's one job duty I don't even try. I don't think guys can fold. I think it's just a men handicap that we have. I basically just like try to crunch them in a ball nicer than they were before. That's pretty much my folding technique. So I've been fired from the folding of the clothes duty for sure.
Yeah.
Corey's method is rolling.
Roll everything.
You roll the t-shirt.
In order to fit it into the space.
Wise idea. Yeah. Sounds good. Well, chores aside, you spent over a year on the road. Did it meet the expectations that you anticipated it, or did you really go in without any preconceived idea of what it was going to be like and just let the exploration lead you?
I'd say we went in with really no expectations
Just
at
let it
all.
lead us.
We really had no idea at all what we were getting into. So every day was a new, different experience, and it was really exciting. So
yeah, we didn't plan much. I mean, we had key spots. We knew we were going to Yosemite. We knew we were going to go Oregon coast the trip. We were very flexible. We moved every 2-3 days, just kind of whenever we got tired of a place, we kept it moving. We didn't hibernate for long, but the road kind of guide us. Where do we want to go?
yeah, I feel like we are good at embracing change.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Particularly as frequently as you do move, you kind of need to be extremely flexible to things. Did you guys wish you had stayed in any particular place longer than you did?
I'd say yes. There were places where we really wish that we stopped. For me, Three Rivers, California, where the Sequoia National Park is, that was just incredible, and would have definitely a little bit longer.
Yeah, and Oregon coast. We spent a long time crawling up that coastline. Little guys made for the Oregon coast because there's so many pull-offs where you can boondock. We boondocked at Thor's Well. I wish we stayed at Thor's Well for a couple more days, but we literally parked and had dinner and drank wine and watched whales at Thor Well. So like those, I could get used to, doing that for a week longer. It was hard to let go of those moments, even though you were there for a day or two and you're there doing nothing but just over there.
So can you guys hear me? I think we're
Yeah, we can.
I want to make sure we're still connected. Okay, good. I think I guess the one big question I have for you guys is that you transition from kind of home living to this nomadic lifestyle, especially living in a very minimal size camper trailer, a little guy max. Was there anything that you left behind that you missed as far as like either stuff or just the old lifestyle that you had before? Was there anything that you said, oh man, I wish we would have brought that, or I wish we still lived in the house? Or was there anything you ever missed with that?
Well, yes, because we decided to go on the road in the size rig that we have. We actually had to keep our cat Copper with my brother for the past year or so. So I really could have taken Copper with us. Yeah. He's had a blast. He loves my brother and my little niece and my sister-in-law. They're taking really good care of him. Yeah, I missed having Copper.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's something that you should miss, but it's funny that, I would definitely miss my cat or my dog. I'd probably even miss a plant more than I would miss stuff. So that's kind of really refreshing to hear for sure. So tell us a little bit about now with, what you guys are transitioning from. You're kind of off the road for a little bit. You're still semi living in the little guy max. You're in the little guy max now. Tell us about this whole sustainable living thing and what you're doing with your work camping life.
Yeah, so when we got back to Georgia, we landed at a kids' summer camp my buddy runs. It's 124 acres, and so there's 20 horses and 60 acres worth of grass. So I'm basically the property manager here, and we have free hookups, free amenities, and it's also about 20 minutes from her work in downtown Atlanta. Our original plan, because we have some family land in North Georgia mountains, was to do a tiny home up there. And basically what we're doing now is with the shed, the bed on it, is we're building it out for another living quarters that we're going to have here at camp. So when we're doing these trips, going out for the weekends or making long weeks, we kind of have a home base, one, to get Copper back as well. And then two, this is going to be the guest bedroom for when we have a bigger tiny home, if that makes any sense. So we'll have all this on Airbnb or something like that when we're traveling. So we're kind of slowly moving back into living a little bit lower, but slowly to come and go as we please and not have as much stuff we have to be responsible for.
Yeah, since we're not on the road right now, we've just decided that we're going to do kind of weekend warrior type travels, and so we're going to basically have like a home base.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what this shed is like. Like, did you build it? Like, how did that whole thing work?
It was pre-manufactured. I forgot the builder's name. I think it's Weber Sheds, but it's a 10 by 20. It has 2 lofts and shelving put into it. But we basically, another thing is here at the camp, they had so much material that they weren't using from just previous. So our flooring was free, our walls was free. We really only had to buy insulation, electricity, and we're doing a cool thing with the ceiling with some metal. So we're about 70% done. We kind of hit a hiatus, as you know, building out the Airstream and any project, you kind of get down and maybe 2 weeks goes by and you have to revisit it. You know, you have to have breaks, but I'm thinking we're going to be done with it here in the next week or two, and then we'll be able to have everybody. But it's really excited about it. We're going to have some stuff out of our storage, and that's another thing. We don't know what's in our storage unit at all. So we already know we're probably going to be getting rid of a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Has your time on the road shaped any of the decisions in building the shed or how you're designing it? Has it shaped that for you, or is it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, lagging a little bit, but I would say design wise, not so much a design wise with it. I mean, we're painting it all white and our rig's white and our truck's white. But for the amount of stuff we're gonna be bringing into it, I mean, we talked about this before. You know, when you live small or minimalistically, tiny, even in an RV, you focus on your needs first and you let your wants kind of become a need. You don't just go buy the frivolous things to fill. I know we went to the antique store with y'all, and you see things you would love to put in a house, or that you would think that would go well in a kitchen, was your kitchen, or the size of your bedroom. So if anything, it's just put into focus, you know, what you actually need compared to your wants. There's only so many pictures you can hang. We have 3 walls in this tiny home, and we've already designated them for certain paintings.
Right. I feel like the biggest thing that the road did to shape us was just to help us realize that we really do like to be minimalistic and not have so much stuff. That's really what we gained from it, and that's really what we are taking, you know, through lives is, you know, just continuing to live small and live tiny and live with less.
Well, I think what you're doing with the shed is just genius. If you want to see a great video of how they deliver these sheds in full structure without nothing comes apart, it's the full gig off the truck. You got to go check out their YouTube channel, because it's Joyous Voyagers YouTube channel, because I was captivated by that truck backing up. And I'm like, how the heck are they going to get that big shed off the truck? And he just he must do that like 10 times a day. And they just winched it right off the truck and put it into place and then dragged it to where, you know, you needed it to be. And he just like, okay, I'm done. I mean, it was just really cool to see how easy that is. And it kind of inspired me to think, you know, I always thought that would have been a much harder process to do. But I think you guys are spot on by going that way. And if you ever want to build on, and now you can make it your own. And I know you've kind of even roughed in like a 50 amp service in there, right? You've got electricity in that thing now.
Yeah. When they delivered it, I was curious too. I was like, how are they going to, you know, I've just never seen them come off a truck, but they had a mule, and they say they can move ones that are twice the size, but he slid that thing right in between our little guy Teardrop and another fifth wheel RV at the site here. So he had like a 12-foot window, and he slid it right in. And yeah, I'm going to do right now is because our site has a 30 amp and a 50 amp. I bought a 50 amp RV receiver. And so we're actually basically just going to have the shed be able to plug in. And that's also what we plan on doing when we clear the land in North Georgia, is putting a RV glorified campsite with a 30 amp and a 50 amp. So when we want to move it, we can just bring it right out there and plug it in. So it's going to be kind of a plug and play living quarters, but I kind of like it because it keeps it mobile, because we're not going to be here forever. You know, we might be here for another 6 months or so, but you just never know where you need to move. And I still want that to be a usable living space, whether we rent it out or, y'all come and stay or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we're going to definitely be
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
Well, we have some questions coming in from our YouTube audience.
Sure.
We have a question from Dreaming Out Loud RVing. Is your land unrestricted so you can build anything?
I'm assuming he means the land like in North Georgia, not the camp we're at. I don't know.
The camp or where you're staying right now.
Right now, currently.
Where we're at, basically, I just have permission. Like I said, a buddy of mine runs this place, and here the RV slots are so big here that we could fit a teardrop in and this 10 by 20 shed. So, it's just like when you go to RV parks, you see people that live and they have their own little home set up next to it. As long as I move everything, they won't mind when we leave. And Jasper, where we're going to move it to one day, have any restrictions for this building? I've already checked.
That leads to another question that Steve Turtle asked. How much land will you have at your home base in North Georgia, I presume?
Yeah. That's to be determined. There's about 15 or 11. We might just get 2 acres of it. We haven't decided. It might turn into my parents, when my mom retires, that we might build 2 new houses. Like we'll have our tiny house and they'll build their house. And so it's kind of up to them how much, but we know 2 acres of it.
Yeah, it's family owned land.
Yeah.
So it's in the family, and so we'll kind of decide how much land and later on.
How much we can afford.
Yeah, take it over, confiscate, throw your flag in the ground and claim your stake. Steve Turtle has asked another question. How did you earn money while you were full-time RVing?
I make a joke.
You spin it all.
Right. No, we made a good shot. Like I said, we were pretty successful in both our careers before. I was in 10 years of sales and she was running a gymnastics franchise. And so between, living below your means already, we were already kind of frugal people anyways. Just saving. And we lived off that equity for the 6-7 months on the road, purely. And then when we got back, we just both got, jobs, flexible jobs.
New Horizons asked, how long did it take you to downsize, initially to get to where you are now?
Well, we're still currently working on that. Because basically what we did was we got 2 storage units when we decided that we were going to go on the road. One for all outdoor farm equipment and everything, and then the other for all of our indoor stuff. We've since moved a lot of the outdoor stuff that we're at right now, and we have we're going to start probably next week going through our storage unit that we have with all of our indoor furniture and boxes and that kind of thing. So
pillows and Christmas ornaments, and I don't know what's going to be in there.
We definitely tried to downsize for a really large storage unit while we were gone. So we definitely attempted to downsize as much as we got rid of a lot of stuff.
Gave it to people, gave a lot of stuff to friends and family.
Right. And we actually sold a lot of our larger furniture with the house when we sold. So yeah, we're still doing it.
Yeah, it's never
we're still in the process.
I mean, even when you live tiny or minimalistic, anything you buy, you throw something out. That's kind of the
right.
Yeah, those storage units. They do hold a lot of what we don't want to necessarily deal with at the moment, or accept that we have to downsize.
But
it.
that's why they have the TV show Storage Wars, because people just leave their stuff in the storage bin and say, "I'll just let someone else find it at some point in time."
Downsizing makes sense. Ask the question, did any friends or family try to convince you not to do it?
I think for the most part, our friends and our family were very, very supportive. We had a few people in there maybe ask us questions that, just to make sure that we knew or understood what we were getting ourselves into.
Or asking you,
right.
what's Daniel gotten you into yet? And it's like, it's her idea. It was a big conversation before we left,
Yeah, I guess everybody Daniel was talking me into something I didn't want to do, and in reality, it was all me. It was my idea.
Well, Randy asked a question from Randy's Adventures. Hey, Daniel and Corry, as a fellow Little Guy Max owner, I love hearing your story. Would you recommend doing full time in the Little Guy Max? You guys have the experience.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Yes, absolutely. With kids, I think that'd be hard.
Yeah, if it's the two of us and our two dogs, and it works. It's the perfect size. We like that it's small because we can take it anywhere. With kids, and that's something we'll be getting into, but with kids, we'll probably have to do something.
Yeah, I just personally, I think I would have to with the kid, but full-time living, absolutely. It has everything you need. It has all the storage. New models have even more water storage. You can put solar on it. It's a stealthy, slick, easy ride, to park. We had a lot. All the horror stories you hear, we didn't really experience any with the RV, like finding places to stay. Just if you're content and you want to basically go full time and travel with the stuff that you're not going to be collecting things and
collecting antiques
any day.
Yeah, it's a
good right. Mailing them back.
A good RV to start with. If you're first starting out, RVing, if you're new to RVing, it was a really good way to get your feet wet.
Mike and MJ's RV Adventures asked, will you travel on the road still in the cold months, particularly as you guys begin the Weekend Warrior idea?
Yes, we're leaving tomorrow morning, actually, to go to the largest state in Georgia, and it's supposed to be 30 degrees that night. So we've done a lot of cold winter camping already in this traveling, and so it's not a forced season, but we closed up a lot of the airflows and learned how to turn this into a little warm eggshell. But yeah, the cold doesn't stop us at all. Camper.
It's actually nice to do it in the cold months because there's not so many people,
Yeah. I know you kind of get the space more to yourself.
So Steve Turtle has a question. Steve Turtle from YouTube. Steve Turtle asks, what are you doing at your friend's camp? What kind of work are you doing right now?
Well, we built a whole yurt past couple months, probably the past 4 months. We built a camp canteen store. We have a whole playlist on that on our YouTube channel. You can watch it. But right now, a lot of hardscape, boulder walls. I did landscaping as well outside of sales, so I have a knack for it. But outside of feeding horses and taking care of about 50 acres worth of grass, the the majority of my work right now is on an excavator, moving boulders or laying concrete. A lot of hardscape work more than painting or stuff like that. I'm every day on machines all day.
Dreaming Out Loud RVing. Their question is, when you guys were traveling, how often did you move? How many miles or hours a day did you drive?
So we probably moved every 8 days or so, probably on average, and we would drive for about 3 hours.
Rolls 333 or whatever, like check in before 3, don't
Yeah.
drive more than
Right.
3 hours.
Right.
We wanted to crawl. Yeah, we wanted to crawl through states. We really took time in each state we did. We didn't want to drive past anything. You're not going to see everything, but
Mhm.
we definitely tried. And then with the dogs as well, you know, they get kind of hasty after 3 hours.
Yeah. Miko gets a little anxious in
Car
the
sick.
car and a little car sick sometimes, so to limit how long they were in the car.
Mhm.
Yeah, 3 hours is a good option. RV Kids TV had a question. Do your parents also live the tiny lifestyle?
No. No, they
That's all
don't.
the acreage.
Yeah.
But that and they just it's just not anything that
Yeah, I mean, one of the previous questions of did anyone kind of talk you out of it or anything? They were everyone was supportive, but it just questions. I think any time live your life a little differently, minimalistically, or something where it's outwardly visible for other people to notice. It sheds a light a little bit on how they live and what they're capable of doing, what they're not doing. And we always talk about, it works for us. When people say, I don't see how you do that, but very supportive, but no, both of our parents like their homes.
Mhm. They like their space.
Maybe they'll take attributes from your life once you get a little closer to them. Show them your
Right.
ways.
So Randy from Randy's Adventure had a question. She said, she asked, what and how do you compensate for a smaller fresh water tank in the Little Guy Max?
We carried what were they, 5-gallon jugs?
Yeah, we had 2 5-gallon freshwater jugs. When we would go boondocking. So our first month we did RV parks, just standard fill up the tank. But after that, we went to a lot of the swamplands and started doing a lot of boondocking in Texas and in Sedona. And we could go 6 days with the water tanks. We had a 20-gallon, 21-gallon fresh, 14 gray, and 5 black. 9
black.
9 black. So we could go 6 days using the other 2 5-gallon containers. And I think we only had to use those twice because, like I said, we move every 4 or 5 days. So basically, we would stay at like an RV park and then boondock for the rest of the week. So we were always dodging people and kind of getting our reset at a park for a day.
And we just we were really conservative with water.
Yeah.
Short
showers.
Yeah, real short showers. If we had to we were real strategic on reusing dishes and that kind of thing, like
Paper
just
plates.
wiping them out or something like that. Not, only using water when we absolutely needed to.
Planning your meals, like where you're not making messy meals so much when you're boondocking. Stuff that is not going to use a bunch of water.
Mm-hmm.
Boiling rice, chicken pot pies, things like that.
So my question is, whose chore is it then to bring up the 5-gallon water jugs for fresh water? I have a feeling I know, but I think that goes into the chore category.
It goes into
Daniel,
the outside category.
that fit in. Anything rig maintenance oriented. I really wanted Corry just to be a homemaker, a teardrop homemaker, and just do anyways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I didn't mind
Yeah,
it.
but you know how that goes. I can imagine Corry in the shower thinking, yeah, I should only be taking a 2-minute shower, but Daniel, he'll carry that water up for me. So
We can get about a good 4-5 minutes of hot water.
when we're dry camping,
Right.
fully hooked up, you can take a 15-20 minute hot shower.
Right.
And
But dry camping.
Yeah, dry camping. I mean, I'm a bit, like I said, landscaping, everything before. I take horse baths. Everyone jokes around.
So tell us a little bit about how people can find you. If they want to contact you with you, our podcast listeners want to try to get in touch, or if they have further questions, what is the best way for people to contact you?
Yeah, we're basically, sorry, my camera. YouTube,
Facebook.
we're bad social media people. We're bad millennials when it comes to it all. I have a website that I've been working on, but I haven't launched it.
Daniel does all of our social media and everything, and he's good. If you message us or something like that, he'll respond back, and same on YouTube comments and that kind of thing. And that's where y'all can find us.
Yeah, for now.
At Joyous Voyagers, right? Your handle?
Voyagers, sorry. Exactly.
No, you're good. Well, we want to thank you both, Daniel and Corry, for coming in and sharing your story and advice with all of us. And thank you to all of our listeners. You can join our This Nomadic Idea Podcast community group on Facebook and get exclusive content. There is a link to our group on our Facebook page. Just go to This Nomadic Idea. And an extreme special thanks to our Patreon in tonight's episode, Downsizing Makes Sense. Thank you so much for your support on this episode 3.
Our podcasts are always available on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play as of this week, or any of your other favorite podcatchers. If we're not on it, let us know and we'll get on there for you. You can follow us on Instagram on This Nomadic Idea and on our Facebook page, This Nomadic Idea. Just remember, all great ideas, all great achievement starts with a single little tiny idea. So go live the life you want. Thank you so much, Joyous Voyagers, for being on our podcast tonight. And we will see you later. Bye.
Bye, you guys. You guys there?
Okay. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
So that was great. Runaway Roses came in. I believe this must be Carla. Said to you guys specifically, I think I saw you on Two Doves Nation. Good to see you here.
Yeah.
Ace and Amanda, they're great. They're our good friends we met on the road.
Yep.
Very, very cool. That's awesome.
And everyone is giving it awesome podcast. So you guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging with us and sharing your story.
Yep.
We love it.
Yep. Very cool. All right, you guys. So I'll give you a ring in a little bit, and we'll catch you guys later.
All right.
See ya. Bye.
Hey guys, everybody.
Hey, welcome back. You
I've been waiting to cough. Yep. We got another good podcast. 3 now.
Yeah. It was a really good episode. I love hearing. I mean, like what Daniel did with the shed was, if you haven't seen that video yet, go check out the video of that truck dumping off that shed. It was really cool. And then what he's done to that shed, I think it's brilliant. I think it's a real genius move, because you save money. It's already pre-built. You just have to custom do what you want it to do, but it's already there for you, and the hard part's done. And I think that's great.
I know. I love what he said. He said it's a bigger tiny home.
Yeah, right.
There is such a thing. It's a bigger tiny.
Very
A
cool.
lot of people go bigger in their rigs, and a lot of people go smaller. And it's all about the ebb and flow of where you're at in your life.
Very cool.
It's all part of it,
Yep. So again, for people that came in late, I saw a bunch of people that came in after the Q&A, just to let you know how the podcast works. So if you have a question, we usually do Q&A somewhere between 8:15 and 9 o'clock, somewhere around there. But if you come in during the podcast and ask a question, you'll get your YouTube channel name gets mentioned on the podcast. So really appreciate everybody that asked a question. This podcast, by the way, is going to be available on all those platforms on, let me get the date right, because last week I got the date wrong. March.
Yeah, our people had to correct us.
March 9th. This episode 3 will be available. And I'm really excited because our first 2 episodes that are available now, they rocked. I mean, compared to our first podcast we had our first, like, I think 2 or 3 episodes of Trusted Trail Podcast, we had like 35 listens. And our first 2 episodes of This Nomadic Idea Podcast has a little under 3,000 downloads. So I'm pretty excited. I'm very, very probably because we know a lot more about what we're doing as far as getting it out on the platforms. I think it took me 6 months to get on Google Play.
We did, but in some realms we have, even though we are podcasters now for the past 3 years, this is a whole new ball game for us. And so we're kind of learning some ebb and flow. If you go back to episode 1, listening to Scott and I talk over, because we were not on the same page with our format. It was kind of fun. Downsizing Makes Sense says, we are already thinking of downsizing.
What?
Good. Good. Start with that closet first and foremost.
Very, very cool. Yeah, Larry, you got a big fight ahead of you, man. I'm telling you right there. I envision that closet being guarded by like barbed wire. Like, don't take my clothes out of there. Anyway, Larry, you got a huge mountain to climb there.
RV Kids TV said, I think it must be Aaron. It must be you talking. It seems crazy to me to live in a tiny house, but then I want to live in an RV. So, I think when you first start out the thought process of going tiny, it's very like bigger, larger than life, which is funny because you're going tiny.
Yeah, I saw some. I want to give a shout out to people that came in. Geek Family Adventures, Happy Place Diaries came in. Really appreciate you guys. Proceeding Onward in America POA. I think we mentioned you guys, but thank you so much for coming in. I just saw some late people coming in. I wanted to give those guys a shout out and tell them hi. Nursing Our Travel Bug, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate that. She's like, what did we come in on? LOL. So we kind of are doing a live stream on our Thursday show, and we decided to make our podcast also. I mean, why not? There's 80 million people that listen to podcasts. So let's tap into that stuff. That's what I say. Let's tap into that. Nothing like a good podcast from a YouTube live stream.
I find this ironic, and it's probably because I'm a little looped out on just being like overly sick for the last week, and then now you're sick and I'm trying to take care of you, and now I'm getting some sniffles. But here we are talking about numbers, about podcast numbers and how we want them to grow and increase, but yet we're all about minimalism.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah. I find it absolutely hilarious. It's like comedy hour in my mind.
That's true. I want to go step back for a minute about like how now you're taking care of me. What? What?
Well, yeah.
What? She gave me cooties this week. Gift wrapped in a box. Merry really Christmas. Good. Here's some cooties.
I lose the instinct to be a female when other people around me are sick. I like, fend for yourself. Fend for yourself. I really didn't take care of him this week.
No.
I was a very, very bad part.
No. You know, this is what you said. This
relationship.
is what she says. She goes, "I'm so sorry I gave you the cooties," and then she went to bed. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
I feel bad I gave you the cooties. I'm like, well, I can't do anything about it now. Of course, so the bad part of this whole thing is that I'm coughing up a lung, and I've got to get on a plane Monday to go to Arizona. So our next live stream, by the way, we are not doing a podcast.
Oh, this is important information.
Yeah, this is kind of important info.
Should have said this at the beginning.
Probably. Our next stream next Thursday, I will be in lovely Sedona, Arizona, or Cottonwood or Clarkdale or wherever I can find bandwidth. But I will be in the Sedona, Arizona area, and I will be streaming live from there. And I might, if I have to do the stream myself, I will. But if I do, I'm going to take you to a pretty epic place. I'm going to take you not only where everyone goes boondocking in Sedona, but where everybody goes. It's beautiful. I was going to say backpacking, but that's not really true. But I know a pretty cool place. So we're going to see if I have some service. We'll see what that details. I kind of have a family emergency that I have to go to, so I'll be out in Arizona. I'm leaving Monday on a plane. Coffee, which I don't think should worry too many people on the plane that much.
Carla from Renovated just said, Scott, everyone on the plane is going to love you.
I know.
Don't feel bad that they look at you as though you have the plane.
I know. I may not make it off the plane.
And it's kind of
they make quarantine me underneath a seat in a garbage bag.
It's probably a very accurate statement.
Yeah, I'll be the only one like not getting off the plane, I'm sure. Hey, what happened to the coughing guy? Yeah, he's not coming. Contained.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm a little nervous. A little nervous about that. So anyway, you guys,
it's part of it.
Steve goes, you're just gonna go spread cooties. I know.
They say they're gonna tackle you. RV Kids TV. She says, yep, they're gonna tackle you. And they probably are going to quarantine you. So
right, I know.
So it was nice. It was nice knowing you.
But here's the thing, RV Kids TV. Here's the thing. It's the vacation I've always wanted, right? So here's the gig. If I cough up a lung on the plane, you know they're going to quarantine me, right? That's 2 weeks in probably a military hospital with cable TV, nice bed, people waiting on me, hand and foot. It's finally I get the rest I need. So I'm thinking, I could use a breather.
RV Underwood said, I'm using Lysol on my keyboard and screen just watching.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. That's hilarious.
Oh, you guys. All right. Next week, a very unique non-podcast. Do join us for that hour. See what we've got going on. It will be some form of something. Yeah,
we're going live no matter what. Here's kind of what I'm working on, you guys. So we're still going to have game night, I think, once a month, because we're going to be always 2 weeks ahead in our podcast, because our podcasts come out bi-weekly. And so I'm working on game night that's interactive, that everybody can play, whether it's on their iPhone, their iPad, or desktop. I'm working on that whole gig. And so maybe we'll try that out Thursday. I don't know if I'll have it set up yet. I've got a lot of stuff to do this week, but that's what we're working on. We're trying to make an interactive trivia game night because we love trivia. We really had fun doing that. And we want to continue doing that at least once a month.
I love performing it. I don't like answering it.
No,
I don't get it.
No, you're terrible at pop culture. But that's what we're going to do. So anyway, it's 9:00. We know there's other streams going on.
Let's get you guys out of here.
Who are our patrons tonight? Did we mention them?
Downsizing Makes Sense.
Thank you guys so much. Everybody that asked questions, thank you guys. Everyone that came in, really super appreciate all the love and support you guys give us.
We always do.
Thank you guys so much. So we'll see you next Thursday from beautiful Sedona, Arizona. We'll see you guys later. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.